Hello everyone! It is Monday, August 30th, which is 2 days before Becca's Bookoplathon starts, which this reading vlog will be for, at least the first half of the readathon. If you don't know, Becca's Bookoplathon is a readathon from Back in the Books, and she, like every month, she does this TBR game where she has like a book up that has a Monopoly board, but like the spaces are all like different reading prompts. And based on like the space she lands, he picks a book, and she has made a readathon out of that. I participated in the 48-hour round earlier this year, which I leave my reading vlog right below, as well as Becca's channel, so you can check out more information about the readathon. And yeah, now is the month-long one. We get our own board. And yeah, I'm a bit nervous because I haven't participated in a month-long one. I've participated in both 48-hour rounds that have been hosted, so I knew to deal with that. This is a bit more nerve-wracking, but I'm still very excited to participate. So this is the board, starting off with 2 walls, which I'm nervous about because that could double up to 4, but oh well. Basically, I have a lot of galleys I have to read this month, so I prefer to have a ebook, like a galley, and a physical book going at each time. So to start with this readathon, I have to gonna roll twice, and every time I finish a book, I'll roll once. I'm nervous because, like I said, this could amount up to 4 rolls in total, so even more, because double means to roll again. So wish me luck. Hi. It is September 1st, which means it is the first day of Bookoplathon. Hey! Honestly, I'm impressed with myself because I managed to squeeze in like 2 more books since I last talked to you to read it in the end of August, which is, I just want to applaud myself for doing that because that was difficult. I'll readathon upon itself. But I did my dice rolls, as you know, and I landed on the girl, boy, people, person, son, daughter, man, woman, brother, sister, king, queen, wife, husband, prince, princess, lord, lady square, which just means to pick a book that has one of those words in the title, or just like a word like referring to humans. I guess it's a bit difficult to explain, but like Becca said, that you can go beyond the words that are on the square. So I did that and I picked the Dishonored Viscount for my read for that square. This is a Gallica from Nagali. It's coming out somewhere later in September, and I started this earlier this morning, and I think I'm about 20% in. I don't know for sure, but this book follows a guy, and his father murdered someone and was put on trial for that, and everything, is convicted, and since then, like, he lost his title and like his reputation. I guess he has a very bad reputation because of what his father did, and since then he's like gone back to college and studied to be an eye surgeon, so that's what he is now. And then one day he runs into this girl who has all her life has had trouble with her sight, and she has been doing like this treatment that only helps temporarily, and it's very painful, so she doesn't want it anymore. And they interact, and she learns that, hey, there is a more permanent solution to this problem that he can offer her, but her father doesn't want her to do that because he is such a disgraced person. Like, it would be bad, it would ruin her reputation. Like, she is still very much on the marriage market, and like it will ruin everything. Like, she's already less popular because everyone knows about like her disability, like her not seeing properly, so that already makes her less eligible, I guess, to other marriage prospects. So this father is like, no, we're not doing the surgery because it would be too much risk on reputation. But she decides to go behind his back and just get this procedure done, and like they end up spending time together as well because of it. And it's a romance, it's a historical romance book. I don't know what else to say. I'm only 20% in, and I basically explained to you all what happened. I really am liking this so far. I have some minor problems with it, just with the way this is written. I feel like at times it's a bit info-dumpy, and it doesn't always flow as nicely as I would want to, but for the rest, I do quite like it. I really quite like our main characters, and I like seeing them interact, and I'm excited to learn more about them and see their relationship develop more. At this point, I just feel like it's very, I'm not gonna say insta-love because like they're very much not at that stage, but I feel like their feelings like came very quickly, and they are pretty intense already. So I'm just like a bit hesitant about that, but like maybe if it progresses further, it will be dealt with better and I'll like it more. That's the first book. Currently in the middle of that. Then like I said, I did 2 walls because I want to have one ebook and one physical book going at all times. So I did another wall, and with that I landed on height, and I been having a difficult time choosing what book to read, because most of the books I pick up are books that I've heard people talk about, if it's just like one person or like multiple people. And eventually I landed upon these 2 choices, which is Sadie by Courtney Summers and People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is the UK edition, so it's called You and Me on Vacation. And I spent some time debating between these 2, and I've decided upon Sadie by Courtney Summers, mainly because this is a book I've heard loads about over several years, and this one just came out this year, so I feel like the anticipation for this is higher. And also I've only heard like amazing reviews for this. Well, this I've heard some mixed reviews on, so I think this is like the perfect encapsulation of hyped, and I'm also quite in the mood to read this. Day, which means September 2nd. How are you doing? And yesterday didn't go according to plan in a good way for the readathon. So yesterday, I don't know how I did it, but I finished the Dishonored Viscount by Sophie Barnes. Wasn't planned, but here we are anyway. Ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars because I don't know, I did quite like the romance. I mean, I like the 2 separate characters, and I think they had some interesting they had chemistry and they had some great interactions, but like I mentioned yesterday, it is very insta-love and very extremely so, and it takes such a while for them to like talk to each other about their feelings, and I'm just like, either like make them realize their feelings for each other a little bit later on, or just like let them converse a bit earlier, because that was just like a whole chunk that I just thought was very boring and I wish wasn't there. And then I feel like towards the end, like a lot of things happened, and I felt like it was just maybe a little bit too many things, and it was all so dramatic, and it felt a bit too much for me. But this book also very much heavily discusses blindness. This book also heavily discusses blindness and eye surgery, and just like having like not ideal vision in this time period, which I thought was very interesting, and I really liked the discussions around that. And you could tell that the author like very well researched those things, but it also like never really felt like a history book while talking about these things, so I appreciated that, and I landed on a 3 out of 5 stars. So then I immediately I got a double. Of course I got a double because why else would this board favor me? Because like it has favored no one. But first off, I landed on Cute, and for that I have decided to read A Spot of Trouble, which is a Gallagher from Nagali. I haven't started it yet. I'll talk to you more once I have. And because I rolled a double, I had to roll again, and I ended up on Feet School, which is probably the problem in the entire board that I'm like most scared of, because I don't know. And I had a feeling this was gonna go wrong, because I went on Goodreads in school. It's like the first book that I came across as on my physical DVR, or like I have access to reading and I haven't read it yet. Basically, that was my rule. And I knew I had scrolled to Goodreads earlier on in the day, and I saw a couple of people I follow reading Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, like more than one person. That doesn't happen often when more than one person I follow is like reading the same book. So I had a feeling that it was gonna be that book. I was like, maybe not, you know, you never know. But it was Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the kind of Scars duology. But I'll talk to you about that more in a minute. Today I decided to, like this morning, I woke up earlier than planned as well. So I had was done with my things, still had time left over, and I decided to watch the live sprints that they did yesterday evening. I wasn't able to participate in them then, so I thought I'd just do it now because I thought it would be fun. I've never done like the dice sprints before, and I started both of these books because I don't know if you noticed, but like dice sprints is like the number you roll is like back at walls is what the time, and then if there's a double you have to like switch books. So luckily I have 2 physical books going right now, and I started with Sadie by Courtney Summers. I already told you I was going to be reading this book. Now I'm going to give you a synopsis of it because I am 48 pages into it. This book basically starts off with this podcast where they are following this mystery where this young girl has been murdered, and they can't find anything to like progress the murder case. And now it's like almost a year later, like since she's been murdered, and the sister of this young girl has run away and basically has gone missing. Nobody really know what happened to her, and the guy who does this podcast is kind of like interviewing people about the murder case and like trying to figure out what happened there, but also trying to find Sadie, who is the sister who ran away. And then we also get Sadie's perspective from when she ran away and what she wants to do when she's trying to find the murderer and act revenge on the murderer. So yeah, that's this book. I'm 48 pages in, not far, but I'm quite liking this. I like the element of the podcast as well as just like following Sadie. I think at this moment in time I'm enjoying Sadie's perspective a little bit more, but I'm not even 50 pages in, so who knows how well this is gonna go. And then they did it one sprint, and then the world was a double, so I had to switch, and then for the rest of it I've read another book, and that's Will of Walls, obviously Billy Woody Girl. Like I said, this is the second book in the Kings of Scars trilogy, which is the 3rd series in the Grishaverse, and yes, you have to read all the other books before getting into this series. And this series follows the adventures of Nikolai, Zoya, and Nina, and I can't tell you more because it will spoil the events of both Shadow and Bone trilogy as the Six of Crows duology. But I read those, I loved those, so I was excited to get into this duology, and I didn't like the first book that much. I thought it was 3-star, it was pretty boring, and I wasn't that into it. And I'm also not liking this one so far. I'm 162 pages into it, so it is quite a chunk, which I'm happy with because there's almost 600 pages. Another reason why I didn't want to read this right now. I'm not really liking it. I'm honestly just in this series right now just for the characters because I don't really care for the plot that's going on. I feel like it is discussing some interesting things in this world, but I feel like there's so many elements going on, and I'm just like, it's too much to keep track of. I don't really know if I'm liking it that much. But again, I'm only like a small portion of the way through this book, and there's still much more to go. Maybe I'll like it more as this book continues.
Tu no grito
Heyo, it is Tuesday. Didn't plan on this, but actually I did update you yesterday, but I updated my vlog. I edited the vlog so far like this morning as well, and yesterday's update was just like all over the place, so I cut it out and I'm doing all of it again. I didn't talk to you over the weekend. I apologize. It was a bit of a busy weekend because there was a festival in town and me and my mom went to, following all COVID rules that are in place, don't worry. So we went 2 of the 3 days because Saturday I was just like really sick. I don't know what happened, but just Saturday I was a mess. But yeah, Sunday I felt like almost nothing happened. So we went then, had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed the little clips I inserted. I did have to speed them up, just like avoid any copyright issues that might occur. So yeah, I hope you don't mind that. And yeah, there's all Belgian artists, Flemish artists. So if you don't speak Dutch, I apologize because you won't understand a single word. That's a little explanation of the weekend. So let's get into my reading. I'm not gonna go like in depth. Only thing I can tell you is I didn't read Friday and I finished a book on Sunday and on Monday, so let's go over those first. So on Sunday I finished A Spot of Trouble by Terry Wilson. This is a adult romance following two main characters. One is a guy who just moved to the small town. He used to work at the Chicago Fire Department, and stuff happened there, and now he just wants to lead like a calmer life. So that's like a desk job at the fire department in a smaller town, so it isn't as busy. And on his first day in his new town, he gets stopped on the beach by this woman who claims that he stole her Dalmatian, but actually it's just that it's his dog, but they just look identical. And this woman has lived in his town her whole life. Her father is the head of the police department, and both of her brothers also are policemen. And in this town there's been like this long-standing rivalry between the fire department and the police department that outs itself the most in a softball tournament during the summer. And our guy main character also used to be like a big baseball player in college, so there's this rivalry going on between the two of them because of the departments they belong to, I guess, but also just because their personalities aren't matching. And then of course, because it's in a romance novel, they end up falling for each other. And yeah, I picked this for the cute prompt because of the dogs. Just look at the cover, they already look adorable, and in the book they were also very adorable. I ended up giving this book 2 out of 5 stars though, because even though like the dogs were absolutely brilliant in this book, and I also think that the couple had its cute moments and it has some chemistry, I also had a hard time like buying this book. I don't know if that makes sense, because the rivalry just like didn't really make sense to me. I thought it was stupid, and like the reasons for it were very dumb, and I just didn't really like it. So I had a hard time just like having, I don't know, just like buying that sense of like, oh, we can be together, or like, oh, I absolutely hate you because of that, because it just seems so silly to me. I also think like that switch from I hate you to I love you was like a little bit too abrupt in the book, and I wish that was just like a nicer flow, I guess. I also didn't really like the female main character that much. I just thought she was very immature and annoying. I'm happy because I have a long list of galleys. I just started my journal and I made like a list of all the galleys I need to read. Let me show you that. This is a list of all the galleys I plan to read this month, so it's great that I already have 2 checked off like a week into the month. That's amazing. And then on Monday I finished Sadie by Courtney Summers. I already gave you an explanation what this is about, and I ended up really enjoying this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This book is sold in like 2 different sections kind of, and it alternate constantly the podcast and then Sadie's perspective, and I really liked how those 2 elements like switched between each other. I think they like, it worked really well. They switched at the right point. I really loved following Sadie's perspective. I think she was an amazing character to follow, and I liked just, I don't know, following her like I said, but I also quite liked going back over her movements through the podcast and like learning more about her, to like the people that have been in her whole life. And I feel like even though like most of like the side characters in this book we see just like in relation to Sadie and her storyline, but I feel like we still got like a very great sense of who they were, which I thought was so well done. I really liked how it was written. I like the mystery element of it. I do think if you are like a hardcore mystery fan, you might be a little bit disappointed by this book, because it does mainly focus on Sadie's story and her wanting to get revenge for what happened to her and her sister. But there is like a mystery list still that keeps you going, and I really liked how it was on. I liked the plot twist in this. And then of course I had to do 2 new walls, one for finishing A Spell of Trouble, one for finishing Sadie. And for finishing A Spell of Trouble I landed on highest rated, so I have a Goodreads shelf with all of those galleys on, and I want to read this month for this readathon and for prompts like this. So I started that for highest rated, and it came up as You'd Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow, and I started that last night, and I'm really liking this so far, but I'm also a bit confused. This book, the plot is a bit hard to describe because I feel like it's going to be more like a character book better than a plot book, but still I'm going to try. Hi, editing me jumping in here to say that synopsis was shit, so I'm going to give you a new one. So You'd Be Home Now by Kathleen Glasgow starts off with this girl who just woke up in a hospital. She's been in a car accident together with her brother and like 2 other people, and one of the people she was in the car with passed away, and then her brother has been sent to rehab because he overdosed on drugs. And then we skip a couple of months, the brother is back from rehab and school is starting again, and they live in a small town, so now she's facing a, like, I don't know, like everyone has this opinion on her based off of this accident, and her brother as well, even though neither of them were behind the steering wheel. And it's kind of her dealing with all of that in a sense. Like I said, it's more character driven, I guess, than plot driven. I hope that makes sense. I'm also trying to make sense of it because I feel like there's so many holes in what happens and what's happening, and I feel like we haven't got an explanation for a lot of things. I'm also a bit confused while reading it, but I'm still quite liking it. I like the character we're following. It also is reading pretty quickly. I think I'm 28% in, and I didn't really read that much yesterday, so yeah, it's going by pretty quickly. And yeah, I'm liking it so far, but I'll probably be able to tell you more once I'm deeper into it. And then and I finished Sadie, I landed on the square to, like, for a TBR game, so I played Wheel of TBR. I used these same prompts that I have for my community shelf, and I landed on science fiction. I had 2 options. I have more science fictions, but these are the 2 that I desperately want to read. I led to Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini and Version Zero by David Yoon. I had a hard time deciding between the 2, so I spun the wheel again, and it landed on the prompt to read a book between 250 and 500 pages, which is this book. So this is the one that I'm gonna be reading. I haven't started it yet. And yeah, I'm Wheel of Wolves. I'm still at the same mark as I was when I last did it too. I haven't read in it, but I'm planning on later today, don't worry. And yeah, I also have decided I was gonna do 2 vlogs for the entire month, but I've decided to do weekly vlogs because, like I said, I started editing this one and it was really long. So I decided I would just go with week vlogs, and then I could also like talk to you more in depth about things rather than like having to cut myself off to make it shorter and like make it a watchable vlog. So yeah, I hope you like that. You'll probably see me one more time to wind up this vlog tomorrow. So it is Wednesday, which means I'm here to wrap up the vlog. I didn't end up reading anything yesterday. I don't know, yesterday just kind of happened and passed by me, and I didn't read even though I really wanted to read. So yeah, I apologize. That's it for this vlog. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, as well as how you've been doing with the Bookoplathon, if you're participating. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good. Here I am again, the same old situation. What does the